wrestlers. They'd ask me what I thought of their matches, etc. From there, people actually start taking the website seriously. So at that point, I was like, well, I can't keep calling it Chad's an idiot for the rest of, if people take this seriously, I should probably change the name. So I switched up to MidwestTerritory.com because a lot of these local promotions use Midwest Territory as a hashtag to get themselves over. So I figured if they could use it to get themselves over, hey, so can I. So
there you go.
MidwestTerritory.com happened. And then from there, I started getting bookings doing commentary for shows because I'm not very good at a lot of things, but I can talk for a while. That I'm pretty good at. So I did commentary last year for, I think 15 different wrestling promotions, including a deathmatch tournament out of Mexico. Did some fun stuff. So, you build up friendships with these people. You get a little bit of respect for, because I'm honest, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, and people appreciate that. Sometimes they haven't liked it as much, but sometimes they do. So if you're just honest with people and, treat them right, you start building a little bit of a following and gain some friendships, and then they help you out with stuff like this.
Well, I mean, you got to be honest with you, that kind of stuff. I mean, I've had a couple of other commentators here on the show, namely Dave Bradshaw. I don't know if you ever watched Defiant Wrestling on YouTube from the United Kingdom or any of that, but he's a really great commentator. He's pretty much, said the same thing. You need to have a genuine reaction, positive or negative. They need to I didn't hear you broke up there.
You got to have some sort of response to these people.
Yeah. So that's an interesting way to get into it. There. So I mean, I'm assuming that like most of us, you grew up as a wrestling fan. Were you a WCW guy?
I was actually not a WCW. Well, here's the thing. I liked wrestling so much when I was a kid that I would stay up till like 1 o'clock in the morning to watch a WCW Worldwide in '93.
Oh my God!
That tells you the '93 WCW. That's how much I love wrestling. My parents would go. We actually, till I was 10, we lived in Dallas, Texas, or around the Dallas area. So we went to the Sportatorium in Dallas, or my parents did. I think I went once when I was very small, but they were at the David Von Erich Memorial Show and all that stuff. So it's in my blood. I've actually even got lucky enough to wrestle a couple times.
Oh, no
which
shit.
is kind of fun. Yeah, oh God, I'm terrible at it. But I have got to get in the ring. I was actually in the ring last month in a battle royal. I got eliminated 5 separate times. That's how good I am.
Hey, you know what? That takes fucking talent to get eliminated 5 separate times. I mean, most of the time people only get eliminated once.
All I know for sure is, you know how they say, "Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring." That apron is the hardest part of the ring because my butt hurt for about a week after.
Well, you know what? That had to be fun though. I mean, who'd you get? Who'd you get eliminated by? Is it 5 times?
Man, I don't even remember. Twice it was for Epic Wrestling Entertainment. Twice it was by their tag team champions. Once it was from, actually, a little inside baseball, the guy that owns the company. And then the guy that ended up in Battle Royal. So it was fun. I mean, it was a fun show, man. Plus, then I immediately walked back to the back, put my little commentary jacket on, and came back out and did commentary.
See, to be honest, that was always my dream, was commentary. I always wanted to be in commentary. I sit here sometimes even on the shows, and I'll throw on like an old pay-per-view, and I'll call the pay-per-view like I'm there or whatever. It was always a lot of fun. I loved doing it when I was a kid. I was Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone and Joey Styles. Joey Styles is one of my favorites. I love Joey Styles.
Yeah, man, I was pretty lucky to get into that too, to be honest. The first time I did commentary was for IWA Mid-South. They have a tryout show a couple times a year. So I do this IWA tryout show, and they're like, "Hey, man, just go up here. You're going to be calling the matches." And I knew the guy that does commentary for IWA Mid-South, so I wasn't nervous. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, "Hey, I got some stuff to do." So then I got another guy to come up here to do it with you, and it was Jimmy Jacobs.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And this was right after he left WWE, so it wasn't just Jimmy Jacobs. It was Jimmy Jacobs, who last week was talking to Vince McMahon, Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah, that Jimmy Jacobs.
Very first time I ever talked on a microphone in a wrestling show, it was with Jimmy Jacobs. So from there, I mean, what are you going to be nervous about?
Well, what a way to start, with Jimmy Jacobs by you, doing commentary. So you're right. You can only get better from here.
Since then, I've had a chance. I got to commentary with Eddie Kingston. I got to do commentary with Dave Christ.
Wow.
I mean, several guys we got to do with Trip Cassidy. Man, it's just been a blast.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've always wanted to get into it myself. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of independent promotions down here. The Florida being a hotbed for wrestling, but northeastern Florida not so much. I get like one promotion that comes through every so often, and they're okay. They're kind of a. I'm not gonna say anything negative about them, but they're okay. They're not a bad little promotion. I'm not too fond of the guy who runs the creative there. Me and him had a kind of an moment a while back, but the rest of the people who work for him and stuff are great.
See, in this area, we've got probably within 100 miles of me, there are probably 50 promotions.
That's awesome.
Legitimately, I can go to a different wrestling show if I wanted to, Tuesday through Sunday, within driving distance, every day, Tuesday through Sunday.
See, I would love that.
And that's not even. Sometimes there's a building in Jeffersonville, Indiana called the Arena, and at one point there were 8 different promotions right now there in 1 week. Sometimes 2 shows a day.
Wow, that's ridiculous. Crazy. That's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, man, and there's people there for all of them.
Are you planning on recording Parkade at all? Any kind of video recording for YouTube or anything of that sort?
Hawk, it might end up going either on Smart Mark Video, which is a pretty big independent wrestling promotion or video distribution place, or Indie Wrestling TV, which that's awesome too.
I'm
either one. It'll be available somewhere.
I'm excited now. I didn't realize that was going to be. I really want to see it. Most definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for it, especially if I get. That might make me get the independent, wrestling thing there for the $10 a month because.
Hey man, so you get 20 free days if you keep an eye out for these wrestling promotions. Most of them have a code set up where if you put their code in, you get 20 free days free, so you can try it out and see if you like it. And if you do decide to keep it, they get a portion of that money back at some point. I don't know how much, but
I'll definitely have to look into that. So, without saying too much, is there anybody else that you're looking at for Parkade that you're talking to?
We're trying. I don't want to put a bunch of names out there.
You don't have to give out anything.
There's one guy we're trying to get a hold of that we would love to have on our show. We've actually reached out to him. I think we're trying to get the schedule thing figured out, and it might happen. I can't really say who it is. I'll give you a clue. His dog's name's Cranberry. Okay. If anybody follows Twitter at all.
I definitely don't know who it is, but now I'm going to be searching. I'm trying to figure that out.
That's one of the 2 guys that we're trying to get. The other guy we're trying to get, he's working out some stuff. He actually tried out for WWE last 2 months ago. So, yeah. So there's a couple guys that we're still trying to get. But as of right now, if I didn't get another person today, we still have a full card. Like, these guys are guys that I want, but, if they don't happen, then I'm 100% happy with what we have planned out right now.
See, and that's what it's about, is number 1, having fun with it. Number 2, helping out that shelter, because that's really great what you guys are doing.
I said this before, this is going to be the one show I get to run. So remember that scene in Man on the Moon where Andy Kaufman just did all that crap at Carnegie Hall because he thought it was going to be fun? That's essentially what the show is going to be. I'll make it as fun as possible. We're going to try to have it set up where people can look at adopting dogs or cats during the show. We're going to try to get this completely – there might be puppies. We don't even know. We're trying our best.
I will definitely be doing what I can to help you promote it some. Like I said, I don't know how much I'll actually be able to do for you, but I'll talk to you after we get done here in a minute, and maybe we can put something together for the show. But no, so you definitely not going to be another one, huh? You're 100% sure you don't want to do another one already.
We will see. The whole thing with losing the building kind of angered me a little bit.
Well, but then I realized frustrating.
It's not a big deal. There's a bunch of buildings. We'll be fine. It might cost me a little more money, but at the end of the day, you just got to, if you really want to get something done, you just got to keep trying until you do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. Who knows? We might make them a lot of money and do it next year. You never can tell. Or maybe next year I can talk somebody else into paying for it, and then I don't got to worry about it at all.
Then you just get to be a figurehead. You just get to have fun.
Yeah. Really good at stuff. Yeah.
So, before, because I'm going to give you a quick minute to kind of pimp it out again real quick and give out dates and stuff. I wanted to ask, as another wrestling fan, how do you feel about, how much wrestling has changed since, you were a kid to now? I usually kind of ask people when they come on the show, as far as, the personalities and, like these different companies, like AEW is kind of groundbreaking with everything they're doing and such. And I was wondering what you thought about it.
Well, it's one of these things where I don't want to be one of those bitter old guys. I'm really not. I can find something on every wrestling show, no matter if it's WWE, AEW, CZW, GCW, any of these companies. I can always find something on that show that I enjoy. And if you're a wrestling fan, I mean, you're not going to like everything. Do I think AEW needs to do 7 destroyers every show? Nah, probably not. I've been to so many indie wrestling shows where I see 8 destroyers. I don't need to see it on TV every week. But do I also want to see Lana and Lashley's wedding? Not so much. Like, You just got to find what you like, focus on that, and the rest of it just move on today. You don't like everything on every TV show you watch. But yeah, man, it's a lot different when I was a kid, but that's fine. Things happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, I listen to a lot of Cornette, and he just he downs everything new.
You know what? I think Jim Cornette's hilarious. I really do. I think Jim Cornette's got a great mind, but I mean, he's so angry. I think half of that's shtick, to be honest. You can't be that man. You really want Kenny Omega to die because he pretend wrestled somebody in a fake fight? Come on.
Yeah, it's like so excessive, like relax, man. You know what I'm saying? Like chill the fuck out.
Like blaming McMahon for telling people that wrestling wasn't real, even though they did articles in the 30s and 40s about it not being real.
Yeah.
Like everybody didn't believe. Just because you did doesn't mean it's, I thought that Hulk Hogan was beating the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. It broke my heart when it didn't happen, and that was really, I was legitimately upset. Now I get upset when my friends don't do well. That's all I care about in wrestling. If I know somebody and they're going to be on TV, I'm like super excited about it. That's all I care about. I just want everybody to be happy, find something they enjoy, and stop bitching. Jesus.
Yeah, it's, people like Cornette and stuff, they take it so seriously, like Orange Cassidy, like the backlash he's received from some of the hardcore, like really old school wrestling fans has been just ridiculous. And I'm like, it's wrestling, man, and it can be fun. Is Orange Cassidy ever going to be a main event like world heavyweight champion? I don't know, probably not. But
have you seen him actually wrestle?
Yeah, I've watched some of his stuff without
have you seen him and David Starr?
I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh my God. Oh man, the guy can go, and that's the thing. Like, you just flip that character just a little bit, and he probably could be a world champion. That's the thing, man. It's all about degree. Like, you can't, like, Orange Cassidy's the GOAT. I mean, I can't do anything with my hands in my pockets and get up, to be fair.
This is true. This is true. I have to agree. Yeah. I can't do that either.
Marco Stunt actually did commentary with him at Grindhouse Pro Wrestling. I had to kick him off because he was using bad language.
Like, oh, shit.
Good kid. I like Marco. He gives good hugs. He's a good little guy. His brother's a talented young kid, too. He'll be somewhere soon.
I got to meet Cody, the Bucks, and SCU and Brandy at their rally in Jacksonville last year. And that was really cool because I grew up on WCW and the NWA and Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I loved him. So it was cool getting
get that lift in, daddy.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, baby. That's right, daddy. Like Dusty Rhodes was phenomenal. I fucking loved him. And it's crazy how people can be so harsh on wrestlers today. When I think people like Dusty, people like Ray Traylor, people like Jimmy Valiant would all love these guys today. Jimmy Valiant's still alive, thankfully. But
Jimmy Valiant, like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. They were talking about, I compared somebody to Jimmy Valiant and they got offended by him. Like, Jimmy Valiant, after he left WWF in the 70s, didn't wrestle a good match. But did he have to? No.
Nope, didn't have to.
Throw punches and dance. That's all they paid for him to do. It was great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, his stuff in the NWA in the early or mid '80s was phenomenal, and his matches weren't that good, but it didn't matter. He's fucking Jimmy Valiant. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was
Charlie Brown from out of town, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely 100%. Oh man. But before we go, you mentioned earlier Paradigm Pro Wrestling. What can you tell me about them?